Actually, my problem's not medical. It's psychological.
2:41 a.m. It's kind of all my own fault. Self-inflicted. You've seen some footage, maybe. Should I put that in? Do I put that in? Do I do video before I do intro? Maybe. Hell, we've been doing all sorts of different things lately. Let's just go with it. So you see, I used the Peterbilt and I had the trombone. I'd go and pick up Pro Energy generator fuel skid combo unit, which are okay. It's not that heavy, but they're heavy for like just a basic skid load. But I dug in. I have been having taillight issues in the skirt at the very back of the truck. The two taillights, right? Like just sitting there at idle or whatever. The taillights are coming and going. Only two diodes in the middle of the LED are staying on, and then they're on. They're there. The brake light, signal light, everything else works great. But the taillights come and go. So I'm like, and I've been writing it up for a week. And like always, they're like, it's not important. Yeah, it's not important until I gotta go get a fucking coil. And I need them. And then what? Get pulled in to the scales because we couldn't take? Okay, at the time I thought it was gonna be minor, right? So I'm like, I did a load yesterday morning, just went out and got some mats and a set of racks, just like an hour and 10 minutes outside of town. Tryson was moving the rig. I was going to make video about that, but I was just like, I only worked for like 3.5 hours. It's hard to make a video out of just picking up a stack of mats. I could have made a video about my day because it was kind of shitty. Well, it wasn't really shitty, but you know what I mean? So I pulled in my truck and my trailer because we'll get to the trailer part in a minute. I'm like, well, I'll dive in. I don't mind doing wiring, but I don't love it. But I know how to do it correctly. I'm not saying that the guys aren't doing it correctly. It just has repairs upon repairs upon repairs because the backside of the skirt that faces the diff takes a shit kicking because you're just driving down the road. It takes all the debris, everything. Driving down gravel roads, so I cut back from the main wiring harness that comes out of the junction box, and I just because there was like 4 or 5 patch repairs in there. They all look like they were done properly, but I'm like, well, maybe there's something in there. And the one closest to the main wiring harness that comes out of the junction box, which was like a 7 or 8 wire, I don't know what it is. There was some greenery up there. I'm like, oh, this has got to. Every time you find some green wire, you're like, yeah, this is it right here. And I was probing with the test light, but the problem was that they were coming and going. So I'm probing with my test light. I'm like, yeah. Okay, I got all signals. Everything's working here. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Patch in this new wire from the 7 wire to the lights. Make it all pretty. I used the whatever aluminum or steel butt connectors and then shrink tube over top of that so it's nice and slim and tight, torch it just right so it oozes out of the shrink tube. Start plugging in the lights and being like, wait a minute, why didn't I plug in the lights? I was probing with my test light again, and then I'm like, oh, I lost signal again. I was like, fuck. Now I'm mad because I just spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours making it all pretty. Wrapped the wires, did everything that you're supposed to do, like a pro. Pulled a grating out of the back of the truck behind the 5th wheel. Open up the junction box, and I'm like, oh, shit. Insert picture. Completely rotten. So I don't know if those junction boxes can go a certain way. It would be ideal if they had a side that didn't have a rubber grommet on it. If it's going to face up, because one of the grommets was gone. If you guys know what a junction box looks like, I think it has 4 exits out of the box. They usually seal up pretty good. That's a pretty bad spot where it sits, because it's like right at the very back at the skirt. So it's always just in all the road salt when you're driving. It's just constant wet skunk. And then one of the grommets out of the top was missing. I was like, oh. As soon as I brushed off all the dirt and picked it all off, used my tail light brush and got in there, opened it up, and as soon as I brushed away the dirt, I'm like, this grommet is missing. Suspicious. Then I open it up, and then, my biggest fears. I'm like, this is above my pay grade. I need an adult. So the mechanic fixed it while I hopped in the Pete and grabbed the trombone and went out and got my gen set from across town, brought it back to the yard, unloaded it, because I'm like, yeah, I'll have my truck and trailer, because both mechanics like, yeah, the truck will be done today. And the other mechanics that were working on the trailer, like, yeah, the trailer will be done today too. Trailer just got a fresh, speedy CVIP, and I was like, I'm not a genius, but my trailer came back from a CVIP worse than when it went in. Like, how's that fucking work? My brakes, I just complained that my brakes were too tight. I'm like, you guys set the brakes up way too tight, because I'm like, they weren't smoking, but I could definitely smell and feel some heat. And they let it slide for a week. I'm like, oh, whatever, I wrote it up. I did my best. And it was wet and gross, so I didn't... I'm like, I'm not crawling underneath there. I'm like, make work project. I'm like, I wrote it up immediately the first day I took it out. And they just turned a blind eye to it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care. So you know what it's getting now? That it didn't need before it got a CVIP? Complete brake job. I'm like, why wouldn't you guys just... Well, like, it's the difference of my trailer didn't need anything. It had one broken shock mount. Or a shock. Something. I think it was the shock that was broken. And now it needs a complete brake job. I'm like, I don't know what a complete brake job costs, but I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. And this comes back to, like, Brawler's always been, like, reactive instead of proactive. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking say this stuff just to say it, to hear myself talk. I'm like, I'm writing up stuff all the time for a reason. I'm like, it's the difference of spending a couple $100 versus spending thousands. I'm like, but they don't seem to care. That part pisses me off. And it was to the point where I'm like, I'd crawl underneath my own trailer and fix it, but it's a good thing I didn't, because there was something more than just that. But anyways, we'll go in, load up our gen set. Sorry, sometimes I make this morning stuff too long. Comment below if I shut up more often. I need a fine line, like I need a timer. Sometimes, I get talking, and then I talk too much. Who talks this much at 2:51 in the morning? We'll go in. I gotta load that gen set back on the trombone, because my trailer, I got told yesterday, yeah, your trailer will be ready. And then as I got home yesterday, they're like, yeah, your trailer will not be ready. I'm like, God damn it. So I did all the extra work for nothing. I didn't want to pull the trombone because it shook off pretty easy. It wasn't bad. I just figured it was going to be a fight. But all the weight's at the back over the roll. It's only got single rolls. So anyways, my truck's done, but trailer's not. Go in, get my truck, reload, chain her down, get going. We're going out Tidewater out by in between Cynthia and Lodgepole. Gotta be out there for 7 a.m. So yeah, I could have slept a little bit more if I would have left it loaded and just chained it down with my stuff after I picked it up. But anywho, this is life. Goodbye, car. It's like a 50-50 of what to do. I'd park outside because it's warm enough, but it's dirtier to park outside. Even though it is dusty in here because we're tracking in all the mud and then they get sweeping and it's just a dust storm. Trailer. I can't see anything, but I'm sure it's not good. Now would be the time to lay some paint on it. I'm like, can we take out the rails this spring when it's slow? Or we need to cut out? I don't know if we could cut that out. Can't see it, it's flush there. This section here, it raises up. Mats get caught on not lots of stuff, but there's some things that get caught on there. New wave panel skids and matting, anything that's got something flush on the bottom can't get caught on there. Excuse me? Also got a new signal stat because I was failing yesterday, or not yet, well, like the past week. Oh, and it's the nice one. Nice. I've had cheap ones where it's like really crunchy and shitty, but it wasn't staying locked on to make right turns. Yeah, rubber grommet facing up. But Greg did it, so I'm sure I also didn't have a backup light. I had a beeper in there, but I also have another beeper on the beam inside there. He's like, huh, it's kind of weird that you passed your level 1 when you didn't have a backup light for reversing. I didn't know that was the thing. Thought you just needed a beeper. Oh, man, my depth perception sucks. Why does it take you so long to load? Because I'm being shitty. Yeah, it's time for a new one, I know. I think it's way past time for a new one. Every day I'm like, yeah, throw that in the scrap bin today. I don't. What are you waiting for? Failure? Probably wouldn't pick up a pump with it. Damn, bro, look at that. That's almost perfect. Shit. Good job in the dark. Cross chain the front. Cheating on the back. We're just gonna do over the top, one chain. Alright, logbook and get going. just getting spotted. My ABS light came on. I was like, what? Constant problems. Every day there's something small. Easy enough. I'm like, oh, I'll just swing in this way. I should be able to back. No. Not fitting. Small lease. Hopefully it's still pretty frozen when they come in to get it out. It's nice they had mats. It's a pretty big heater they got there, and I don't know if they need that gen to run that heater, so that's kind of natural gas heater. I can see that for sure. Obviously the propane bullet's there. Propane powered natural gas, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Never seen that one. They just live around the corner from our shop. I know the company. We've never really worked for them. I haven't. Brought that out on a tri-low. He said, oh, it's pretty heavy.
Fine, kind. Load of bottles.
Would hate to have to come and get it with the mid. Try to get it. Yeah, it's not too bad. The mid's pretty short, so it'd work. So now what? Hopefully nothing. Go back to the shop. Hopefully my trailer, well, they'll be just getting to work now. 7:30. If it's done, take it for a rip. Do a full retorque on it again. I hate having to do that when I'm like going out on a job, because come in anticipating we have a torque wrench for ourselves, just one, that you can take on a job, you know, take with you, retorque while you're out. But I'd rather just get it out of the way if I got time to do it. Then I don't have to deal with it at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Still got an air ram in my D side I gotta deal with. That's jam. The right side comes up before the left side, and it just goes, and then it won't slide. Even though I've looped it up, I've tried that. Something isn't right in there, so the lady says she's got another ram. I'm like, well, try it out. I'm like, it seems like one is slower than the other, which it's a Lennox ram or wherever they get it. It's typical ram. We should bypass the middleman and just get our own. Like, there's nothing special about that. They just put their sticker on it. I had the same ones on my Cypress truck when they said Deca on them as well. I'm like, yeah, same air rams. Just gotta find out where they're getting them. So yeah, the directions were, I didn't clock it, it was 4.8. I went past the floorboard. I was thinking it was a different lease, but that was more like 5.8. I'm like, oh, I drove past it, I'm gonna turn around. I was just gonna back up, but I'm like, nah, got that sunrise in the back of me. It's just dark enough I can't see nothing, so I just turned around right there, and then it was clocked to come 3.1 and then come 1.1 west, and then it said follow the hose into, but there's this little lease right here, and the hose cut through the backside of that lease. I was like, well, where'd the hose go? Oh yeah, it's not always perfect, you know, just gotta find the hose. Anyways, so it's basically grid roads like this all over back here. Guy can get lost pretty easy. Put that sign in a horrible spot. That's a pretty nice road, this one. Ping. trailer in the ditch a little bit. I was worried I was gonna catch trailer legs. I'm like, oh man, you guys could make these like a hair wider. Catch it with my tire chance. Yeah, it's like 3 inches wider, maybe 6 inches wider, I guess, than the trailer.
flame.